Do you know sometimes you can apply for a green card on your own in the United States? Do you want to know how? I'm going to talk about the National Interest Waiver application today, also referred to as EB2, allows the applicants to sponsor themselves without the need of a job offer. Hi, I'm Kulen. I'm an immigration attorney. I've helped hundreds of academicians, professionals, business people, researchers, artists petition for a green card for themselves and start living in the US. My goal is to help you understand your options in sponsoring yourself for a green card. Normally, the green card is obtained through the sponsorship of an employer. But in this category, persons can self-sponsor themselves. So you are actually applying for yourself and you don't need a job offer from any US employer. To qualify for this green card category, the applicant's work must align with public and national interests of the United States and provide some benefit to the country. Additionally, the applicant must already be working in this area and be able to prove their contributions to the field. Who can apply for national interest waiver? Although typically this category is commonly used by academics, it is also open to professionals in all fields. So what are the requirements for the national interest waiver? First of all, there is an education requirement. The application is for advanced degree holders, meaning if you have a master's degree or a PhD degree in the field, you are qualified to apply. A bachelor degree plus 5 years of experience in the job replaces the requirement of a master's degree. So if you have a bachelor degree plus 5 years of experience in that field, you are also qualified for EB2 national interest waiver category. Why this is a highly preferred option for academics? This category is also very popular with athletes, successful entrepreneurs, business people, and artists. It is suitable for people who have excelled in their field, have made a unique impact, have contributed to the society through their work, and continue their contribution in the United States. There are 3 key criteria for the NIW application. We call it the 3-pronged criteria. You need to have all 3 for you to be able to get this application approved. These 3 criteria were established with a 2016 court decision, and it is currently applied by USCIS in all national interest waiver cases. The first prong is the applicant's proposed endeavor has both substantial intrinsic merit and national importance. I know as I said a lot of words there, but this is what actually it means. The substantial intrinsic merit means the endeavor, the field is important in itself. The field must be generally important. The proposed work must be valuable. National importance, on the other hand, deals with specific impact of the proposed work in the United States. So substantial intrinsic merit has to do with the field itself, while national importance is that fields, that endeavor's effect specifically in the United States. Let's think about a civil engineer who's teaching at a university. So this academic was working on how to prevent the trains from derailing while an earthquake is happening. He applied for a national interest waiver and he wanted to develop this technology even further, and he wanted to further his research on the railroad and its construction methods so that it can prevent derailing of the trains in the near future. This area has substantial intrinsic merit because it prevents trains from derailing. It is also nationally important because less derailing of the trains means less accidents, less people getting hurt in a train accident, and also much less financial loss. The second prong is the applicant is in a well position to advance the proposed endeavor. You keep hearing this endeavor. Endeavor means what is it that you want to do in the United States? What is your goal to come to the States? What is it that you're going to do? Your next project, your research, your next business. So that's the endeavor. How do you prove that you are well positioned to advance that endeavor in the United States? So this prong considers applicants' past accomplishments and current resources to see whether this person will be able to accomplish his proposed endeavor. Rafael is a researcher from Spain and he's researching for new techniques in cancer prevention. He's well positioned to advance the proposed endeavor because he has a doctorate degree in the field. He is working at a top-notch hospital in his home country, Spain, and he has authored many articles that were cited by peers, and these articles were related to cancer prevention techniques. He also has good resources to advance this proposed endeavor because he had multiple research grants in the past and he is working at a top-notch medical institution. And the third prong is, on average, it would be beneficial for the United States to waive the job offer and perm labor certification requirement. USCIS considers a few different factors while analyzing this. First of all, it might be the case that it would be impractical for the applicant to obtain a job offer and labor certification. For example, if the applicant is an entrepreneur and if the applicant is going to establish their own company, it would be impractical for them to apply for a green card from their own company because it is against the perm labor certification rules. Even assuming that other qualified US workers are available, the US would still benefit from granting this person the green card. US can still benefit from the applicant's contributions. Maybe more qualified US workers are there, but the applicant's contributions to the field are critical. The applicant's work might be time sensitive. So the applicant needs to be in the US in a quicker period of time, but going through the perm application may delay the process since it takes a very long time. For example, Tony is a US government contractor working in construction projects for the US government buildings in overseas countries. Since he is the CEO of the company, he cannot file for a perm application for himself. And at the same time, what he is doing is time sensitive and it requires a lot of critical knowledge. So after listing this three-pronged criteria for the NIW application, we can talk a little bit about the documents required for the NIW application. One of the most important aspects of this application is understanding what the field is, determining what the field is in the NIW application. Some applicants may be successful in various fields, but it is very important to find out the strongest one and build the application around it. Next, the applicant's contributions in the field must be determined and they have to be proven. For academics, this may include a list of published articles, a list of citations. For academics, this would include published research papers and articles, citations, recommendation letters talking about the applicant's contribution to the field, media coverage if there is any, licenses, certifications, financial success if available, public speaking engagements, jury memberships, panel participations, leadership roles in professional associations in the field. In sum, identifying the field of expertise and proving the contributions to that field is very important. It is also important to determine what your future endeavor in the United States will be, because it is not important that you are very successful, but you also need to show that your contribution will continue in the United States. For academics, continuing the research might be a good future endeavor. For entrepreneurs, whatever their field is, they would like to further that field in the United States with a specific objective. We are experiencing a specific emphasis on the future endeavor part of the NIW criteria from the USCIS within the last few years. Therefore, a well-crafted personal statement talking about your past achievements as well as your future goals and endeavors in the United States is very important. Now that we know a little bit about the substantive part of the NIW, let's talk a little bit about the procedural aspects. For example, how long does it take to prepare and file an NIW application? How long does it take to be adjudicated? First of all, preparing an NIW application takes at least a few months because it requires a very well-structured portfolio. Sometimes when your application is not quite ready, we may do some coaching as to how you can improve your case, and that could take a little longer. So once submitted with USCIS, it usually takes 4 to 8 months for USCIS to adjudicate the case. You may get an approval or you may get a request for evidence to which you need to apply generally within 3 months. That request for evidence adjudication can take anywhere between 1 to 4 months. You can file your case with premium processing request, or you can switch your regular case to premium processing along the way by paying an additional fee to the USCIS. This will require the USCIS to decide on your case within 45 business days. If the petition is approved, you have two options. If you're in the US, you're maintaining your status, you can apply for a 485 adjustment of status and continue with your green card processing within the US. For this option, you need to wait for visa numbers to become available. That's a very technical term. I'm going to shoot another video as to how to read the visa bulletin and what visa availability really means. However, for the purposes of this video, you have to know that you have to maintain your status within the US and file for a 485 application once the visa numbers become available. If you're not in the US, if you are waiting for your visa interview abroad, then the process is called consular processing. What happens is once the I-140 is approved by USCIS, they send the case to NVC, National Visa Center, which is the intermediate agency between USCIS and the consulates abroad. NVC starts collecting documents from you, and once the file is ready, they wait for the consulate to ask for the file. When is the consulate going to ask for that file? When the visa numbers become available. In the recent years, there's a waiting period in the national interest waiver visa category, in that to be able to file a 485 within the US or to get an appointment at the consulate to get your green card, it takes a while. You can check the latest visa bulletin to see how the visa numbers are doing in the EB2 category. Now I want to talk a little bit about the benefits of the national interest waiver category as opposed to the perm labor certification or green card through an employer. The biggest advantage of the NIW category is you basically bypass the perm labor certification process, which takes about 2 years right now. Therefore, you don't need to get a prevailing wage determination from the Department of Labor. You don't need to prove that you're displacing a US worker or a green card holder. You don't have to prove that another American or a green card holder can do the job, and no employer sponsorship is required. That's the beauty of it. NIW is not for everyone, but it's a great option for qualified individuals. Professionals from a wide range of backgrounds can apply for these positions. Let me give you a few examples. Academics, engineers, geologists, researchers, artists, athletes, economists, entrepreneurs, models, and more. I'll give you a few examples from the cases that we got approved in the last few months to give you an idea about how diversified the fields can be. Our client, who's a dentist, is a researcher in his field, and his techniques and commitments to the underserved areas made him approvable for the NIW. We recently got a textile engineering approved NIW case where this engineer made significant strides in sustainable fabric production. His research has focused on analytical chemistry, focusing on developing solutions for chemical environmental pollution. We recently got an approval NIW case which made us very happy. She's a gynecologist specializing in women's reproductive health. Her research specifically focused on understanding the mechanisms of disease formation and better treatment of these diseases, such as high-risk pregnancies. We got another approval for a molecular biologist and a biochemistry researcher known for her impactful research in genetic and epigenetic mechanisms involved in sensory hair cell development. Another case was he was a computer vision engineer and researcher in computer vision, robotics, and autonomous systems. His research resulted in innovative techniques for object detection and tracking in three-dimensional environments. As you can understand from these samples, NIW is an industry-agnostic application type. So if you think you're really good and you can make a contribution to the United States, you need to get in touch with us for us to see whether you are eligible for this category. If you go to our website, there's an icon which says request a free evaluation. If you click on that and fill out the national interest waiver application, we will consider you not only for national interest waiver application, but also for other visa options such as O1 and EB1. Final thoughts on the NIW. While NIW applications do not require an extremely high burden of proof, the applicant's work must have real value, and it must be demonstrated that this would be beneficial to the United States. So today I try to explain what the national interest waiver is, what the requirements are, and how long the process takes. Hopefully you will find this video informative. For the latest information and latest updates in the immigration world, please like this video and subscribe to our channel so that it can reach to more people.